Global War 36 enthusiast here, trying to undo my disastrous last turn where I didn't have my sound going. So let's see if I can just walk you through what I did. I tried for radar, PBE generated a 3, so I failed. I tried for anti-sub warfare, PBE generated a 9, so I succeeded. So I'm at stage 1 of anti-sub warfare. Great Britain had 13 to spend. I upgraded 1 militia to an infantry for 2. I bought 2 infantry for 6, that's 8, and 1 anti-aircraft artillery for 4, so that's 12, I saved 1. For FEC, I had 7 IPP to spend. I purchased 1 infantry for 3, and I saved 4. For ANZAC, I had 4 IPP to spend. I purchased 1 artillery for 4. Okay, so Hambone, I asked Hambone about my combat moves. He elected not to declare war on me. Germany had these subs in A28, and Italy and Germany have subs in M2, and Italy has these 3 ships in M4. So I'll do a lot of combat movement here, and Hambone declined to declare war on me. So from A21, 1 naval transport picked up 1 infantry from southern England and moved down to Sea Zone A44. It dropped off the infantry in Gibraltar and then went in port in Gibraltar. Meanwhile, the naval transport that started there in Gibraltar went up to Sea Zone A21 and then went in port in southern England. From Lower Egypt, I had this naval transport that started port down here in the south, and it left port to I-5, and then it moved over through all the German and Italian ships to Sea Zone M2, and then it went in port in Gibraltar. From Sea Zone A44, there was a battleship that started there, and it moved all the way up here to Sea Zone A21. It's in that task force marker card up there. From Sea Zone A21, that was on the task force marker card, started there. 3 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser moved down to A44, and they went in port here in Gibraltar. From Sea Zone A44, there were 2 destroyers, 2 British destroyers there. They moved over here to Sea Zone M8. Now I proceeded to non-combat movement. In northern England, there was a anti-aircraft artillery, and it moved down into southern England. From southern England, there was an air transport, and it flew over here to Ottawa. From Sea Zone A28, there was a submarine, and it moved up into Sea Zone A21 and joined its other companion submarine. From Sea Zone I5, there was that a heavy cruiser? Let's see. There was a heavy cruiser and a destroyer, and they moved up 1 space to M8. From Sea Zone I4, there was a light carrier with a fighter, a battleship, and a destroyer, and they moved up to Sea Zone M8. From South Africa, a naval transport left port to Sea Zone I1. It picked up, what did it pick up there? It picked up an infantry from Cape Town. Then it moved to Sea Zone I4, and it picked up, did it pick up an infantry from Cape Town, or did it pick up an anti-aircraft? It picked up an anti-aircraft artillery from Cape Town, and it picked up an infantry from British Somaliland, and then it moved up here to Sea Zone I7. It dropped off an infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery there in southern India. From Benares, the FEC infantry moved into Calcutta. From Bengal, a Gurkha moved into Calcutta. From Sea Zone I-14, we had the ANZAC light cruiser and Anzac destroyer. They moved over 3 spaces here over to I-4. And then from C-Zone P-50, the coastal sub moved 1 space over to C-Zone I-12. Down in South Australia, there was a naval transport. It left port to C-Zone P-70 carrying an infantry and an artillery, and then it performed strategic naval movement since it's leaving from a major naval facility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to I-11, and dropped off the Anzac infantry and artillery in Calcutta and went in port in Calcutta. Placement of units, Anzac put an artillery in Sydney. FEC, well, I should show that on camera. Here's the artillery in Sydney. FEC put in an infantry in Calcutta. That brought me up to 4 FEC infantry. And then Great Britain put 1 infantry down here in Cape Town, 1 infantry and 1 anti-aircraft artillery there in London, and then upgraded the militia to an infantry in Ottawa. As far as collecting income, Great Britain collects 13 and has 1 saved, so they have 14 in the bank. FEC collects 5, they had 4 saved, so they have 9 in the bank. Anzac has 3 IPP. Now we started France's turn. France had 1 tech roll. I tried for advanced mechanized infantry at a 7 or higher. PB generated, I think it was a 10. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can find out what that was. It was a 10. Okay, yeah. So PBE generated a 10. So France has stage 1 of advanced mechanized infantry. I had 7 IPP to spend. I purchased 1 militia and saved 5. There was no combat movement. Non-combat movement, there was a sub here in M1. I had a sub on the place units box, and I don't believe that I had, that's where I was intending to build it. I don't know if I sent it out in the group chat to put that sub there, but that sub is going to move to M8. Meanwhile, the 2 subs that were in C-Zone M8 moved down into C-Zone I-5. So now there's 3 subs in I-5. And from Syria, 1 naval transport, not from Syria, from C-Zone M9, there was a naval transport there. It picks up the infantry from Syria, and then it moves over 1, 2, 3, over here to M2 and drops off the infantry in northern Algeria. And the naval transport that started there in C-Zone I-4 will pick up the infantry from French Somaliland and then strategic naval move. It only gets to make a strategic naval move of 3 instead of 5 because it's starting from a minor naval facility. That's a little version 4.2 rule. So it moves 1 to I-5, 2 to M8, and 3 to M9, and then drops off the infantry in Syria. And placement of units, it will place the militia in Paris. So now there's 3 militia in Paris. Okay, so collect income. They are at 8. French are at 8. They've saved 5, so they have 13 in the bank. Let's see if I can't get us sorted out here. So in Ottawa, 1 infantry, 1 air transport. In C-Zone A21, 2 French battleships, 2 British submarines, and the units in this task force marker card, which is 2 battleships, 1 battlecruiser, 1 coastal defense ship, 2 destroyers, 2 torpedo boat destroyers. In northern England, 1 militia. In southern England, 2 militia, an anti-aircraft artillery, a fighter, a medium bomber, and a seaplane. In port in southern England is a naval transport. In London, 1 infantry, 1 anti-aircraft artillery. In France, Normandy, 1 infantry. Picardy, 1 infantry. Alsace-Lorraine, 1 militia, 3 infantry, and an artillery. Paris, 3 militia, 3 infantry, a fighter and a medium bomber. Aquitaine, 2 motorized infantry. Southern France, 1 mountain infantry. In Sea Zone A44, 2 French destroyers and a French torpedo boat destroyer. In port in Gibraltar, 3 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, 2 naval transports. In Gibraltar, 1 militia, 1 infantry, 1 mountain infantry. In Sea Zone M2, 1 French naval transport. In northern Algeria, 1 infantry, 1 foreign legion. In Sea Zone A46, 1 French destroyer. In Sea Zone A48, 1 French light cruiser. In Malta, 1 militia. In Sea Zone M8, 2 light carriers, 1 with a tactical, 1 with a fighter. 1 battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, 6 destroyers, and 1 French submarine. In Sea Zone M9, 1 French naval transport. In Syria, 1 infantry. In Lower Egypt, 1 militia, 1 infantry. In Western Egypt, 1 militia. In Sea Zone I5, 3 French submarines. In Sea Zone I4, an Anzac destroyer and Anzac light cruiser. In Cape Town, 1 infantry. In South Africa, 1 militia. In Sea Zone I7, 1 naval transport. In southern England, 1 militia, 1 infantry, 1 anti-aircraft artillery. In Delhi, 1 militia. In Calcutta, 1 Anzac infantry, 4 FEC infantry, 1 Gurkha, 1 Anzac artillery, 1 Anzac naval transport in port. In Ceylon, 1 militia. In Sea Zone I-12, 1 coastal submarine. In British Malaya, 1 militia. In Sarawak, 1 militia. In Hong Kong, 1 infantry. In South Australia, 1 militia. In Sydney, 1 motorized infantry, 1 artillery. In North and South Islands, 1 militia. Next up is Hambone with Italy 2.7. I apologize for my sound, my lack of sound in the last video.